The armies of Wellington face perhaps the greatest general of all time at the Battle of Waterloo. Today, the battle will be re-fought by a student team from Southampton, looking to test their military skill against the might of the French Empire under a resurgent Napoleon. This is Time Commanders.
It's a sunny day at Waterloo, June 18th, 1815. The mighty armies of France under Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte clash epically with the Allied forces of Europe under Arthur Wellesley, Duke of Wellington. Hoping to delay Napoleon's forces long enough for his Prussian allies to arrive, Wellington will have to make his stand here amongst the fields and farms near Antwerp. With me tonight are a team of history students from the University of Southampton. Will they be able to lead the Allied forces of Europe to victory over Napoleon? With me here tonight are 4 young students, hoping that it all goes to plan. Thank you all for coming. You're going to be playing a game called Napoleon Total War. You will be playing as Arthur, Duke of Wellington. It's your job to hold out your line up here against the overwhelming armies of Napoleon Bonaparte, aka the French. You're going to have to hold out for at least 10 to 15 minutes waiting for your Prussian reinforcements to arrive. It's going to be long, it's going to be bloody, and it's going to be brutal. All you have to do is hold your line at all costs. In particular, you might notice there will be several farms dotted around the field between you. Huguemont, Le Haisson, and a few others. If you manage to hold those buildings, they will prove to be critical strategic points. It's a good idea to hold those at all costs. If you lose them, you could very well end up losing the entire battle.
You are about to take part in one of the most decisive battles in the 19th century, set in the Flemish countryside in Belgium, closing in on the road to Brussels.
The date is June the 18th, summer 1815, and the armies of Britain and France are about to meet.
Napoleon is on the return. While the Austrians and the Russians still rally their forces and try to gather their armies, the forces of Wellington and the British must try and meet up with the Prussians in order to check Napoleon's advance and stop him reaching Brussels. Leading your forces is Arthur Wellesley, Duke of Wellington, veteran of 5 years campaigning in the Spanish Peninsula, but yet to face the Emperor himself on the battlefield. The Duke was an expert in skilled tactics and deciding the lay of the land, and has chosen this particular field of battle. Cool under pressure, respected and not reserved, Wellington was yet to taste defeat.
The forces against you include some of the elite troops of the French Empire, with Napoleon's legendary Imperial Guards, veterans from Napoleon's greatest campaigns, and undefeated in their iconic bearskin hats. Furthermore, Ney's heavy cuirassiers, devastating armoured cavalry who look straight out of a medieval battlefield, while the Grand Battery, Napoleon's prized artillery, will pound the British lines with shot.
Standing against them will be your army, Wellington's famous scum of the earth, some of the best, most drilled and disciplined troops in Europe, experienced from the Peninsula Campaign and supported by coalition troops from Europe. The elite men of the Coldstream Guard, Black Watch and 95th Rifles will be some of your greatest assets in this battle, supported by the pride of Britain's cavalry.
The British are on the defensive. Napoleon has the numbers and the stronger troops, as well as Ney's cavalry. We need to play for time. Blucher has promised to arrive and will turn the tide. Wellington's line relies heavily on the northern ridge to protect his men from the devastating artillery fire, while the farmhouses of Le Haisson and Huguemont dominate the centre, preventing Napoleon's marching on Brussels.
The threat of French cavalry should not be taken lightly. You'll need to keep your eye on your troops if you want to protect them, and put them into square if need be. Your artillery will play a key role against French infantry, with long-range round shot and close, devastating canister fire.
This is where Napoleon's hammer blow will fall hardest. If you can't hold the line until the Prussians arrive, Brussels and Europe may be lost.
Now, this is going to be your only opportunity to ask us for any advice or tactics on the battlefield, so if you have any questions now, ask them now. After this, we will not be able to help you.
I think we should stay still, mainly, to kind of not give them an opportunity to take our high ground from us, and that's an advantage we should endeavour to keep.
Primarily, the British are fighting a defensive battle here. Your numbers are weaker, your troops are more vulnerable, and Napoleon has the much more powerful artillery. What you're doing here is waiting for the Prussian reinforcements to arrive when you will have the greater numbers.
Wellington, identified the ridge as an important defensive position the year before, so it's, we can't reinforce how important it is to hold the ridge.
And keep your troops sheltered from the cannon fire.
You mentioned squaring up. What were you talking about there?
Right. Enemy cavalry are infantry killers. They will ride into your troops and cut them down, forcing them to retreat. The defense to this, however, is for the infantry to form a formation referred to as square, where they will plant their muskets in the ground and create a wall of bayonet points. The cavalry cannot break this formation. So if you are under attack from cavalry, you need to form square immediately.
It's also important to remember that infantry can affect squares, so you shouldn't form square if there's infantry and cavalry attacking at the same time.
And don't do it inside of the enemy guns.
So will the incline which we're actually stationed on, will that prevent any of the cavalry being able to attack us?
No, all your troops will be able to go uphill. It's more of a shelter for Wellington's troops behind the ridge from the French cannon.
Yeah, the cavalry will be able to ride over that hill very easily, so you need to keep an eye on the front.
Here we have an overview of the Battle of Waterloo itself. Over here are all the French blocks. This is the formation you'll be up against. Here you have your own planning blocks. Each one of these little blocks represents one of the units you will be able to control and use in the actual battle itself. These are your very small amount of artillery, this is your cavalry, and this is your infantry. What you have now is you're going to be timed. You're going to have to try and arrange out your infantry, your cavalry, and your artillery into a formation that makes sense, and will be able to stand up to this French juggernaut.
Right, well, starting off, I think that if we have infantry in two lines here, leaving a gap in the middle, that might be able to tempt them forwards. And then we can have a cavalry coming round the side here with the cover of the cannon force here, which means that they'll be able to come in and swoop round the side, enclosing the enemy within it.
I don't think a gap in the middle is a good idea. I think having a full line is would be better.
But the thing is, you've got to have the cavalry with enough distance to be able to get the full charge on.
I'd have the cavalry flanking on the side.
I think we should have the cavalry by the main farms here. I think they're the things we need to be focusing on most, and our cavalry is the most important.
But if we push ourselves too forwards, we get too close to the cannons and the force which they have here, and they'll immediately overtake us. And the thing is, you've got to work out that the cannons are going to be coming forwards onto here, so you don't want the horses riding straight into the cannon force. You want the horse force to be able to actually go into the infantry, rather than being forced to go round the side to avoid the cannon fire.
But you can attack from the side is much more effective. They have less armour, they won't be able to react quickly if you shoot them round. The cavalry will travelling too fast.
So you're thinking that the farms around here must be relying on water supply, so it should be crossable. But the thing is, you've got to think about the infantry being able to move the stuff across.
We have to hold out. We don't want the infantry to move.
Well, the thing is, we've got a bulk supply of infantry, and we have so few guns in comparison that we should actually have the guns at a distance enough that they're able to take on the infantry, but not too far away that they're vulnerable to attack further on.
They keep them behind the infantry.
So you're suggesting that we'd have them around there?
As long as they can fire, yes.
Would you want to have them in the same area, or would you want to have them separately?
Separately.
Okay.
Then we can put more infantry along the front.
Do we want to keep our infantry in one long block, or do we want to divide
could
our
double
whole
them up.
thing into three?
I am going to have to start hurrying you, I'm afraid. You're starting to run out of time on your planning stage.
Okay, so let's...
But what about the cavalry? We really need to have
Cavalry-
enough
I think
space to
I think we
move.
put the cavalry on the side. There's space here, there's no...
I think the key points are the farms.
So, but there's... there'll be
Someone's hit on the right tactic.
Okay, so
You are going to want to make sure you secure those farms as fast as
So
possible.
there's more farms here, so I have two...
Do you want the cannon
This farm is
fire?
going to be important to you.
Yeah.
The cannon fire, would we want it
20
to
seconds,
Perhaps
guys.
spread
Let's
our
get it going.
infantry out a
So
bit-
you can have some more
bit
infantry here to move in behind the cavalry once they've gone for the farm.
We want covering fire for the cavalry to charge onto, so it's just putting the guns quite
that's
close
fine.
to them.
Protect.
5 seconds.
Back a bit.
Do we want to have the infantry back as well?
We can move...
That's it, guys.
It's a very defensive strategy from the team, attempting to use the hills and farms to their advantage. The team's plan centres around holding these farms, with both their infantry and cavalry positioned around them. They have spread their gun positions onto both of their flanks in an effort to dissuade French cavalry attack. As long as they can hold the farms, this should give them a strong defensive position. But if they focus on this too much, then they run the risk of being outflanked and outmanoeuvred.
So, experts, how do you think our team of time commanders did? Will their planning stage hold up to the might of Napoleon's army, or do you think they're doomed to fail?
Well, the deployment's interesting. They identified the importance of the cavalry, and it's just important that they maintain the line on the ridge, really. But it's only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's definitely clear that they did take in quite a few of the points we suggested, especially with the strongholds of the farms. And it's an interesting mix of both offensive and defensive thinking we've seen, so it should be interesting to see how they'll stay their ground or if they'll advance.
So how true was it to Wellington's actual tactics during the Battle of Waterloo?
They did definitely identify the protection of the ridge, and they've taken that into account. I saw they were originally planning on splitting their force into sections, which could potentially have been a fault, as it would have definitely meant their already diminished numbers would have been overwhelmed.
So you feel like they've done a fairly good job overall? You feel like they'll prevail this time?
Well, they potentially, having never seen the battlefield before, I think they've done a reasonable job in setting out the forces, yeah.
There's similarities and a unique style.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, historians. You're now going to be playing the Battle of Waterloo for real. You have over here 2 technicians who are going to be helping you. Ask Chris, and he will move around the camera for you. Ask Scott, and he will manipulate your units for you. If I were you, I would nominate one person to be a general. This is the person you will be feeding all of your orders to. They will be able to give much easier and more concise orders to these 2 over here. It will help invariably in the long run. Apart from that, good luck, and let's see how it goes.
Right, I'll be general for the moment. We can swap around if it actually gets bad.
That won't take long.
Won't take long. Right, so currently we've got, what are these? This is the infantry. Could you get a shot towards where we're going?
Yeah.
I'm saying we're not going to move from our position. We're currently going to be staying in a defensive cycle at the moment. Where are we moving to? Gosh, where are we?
These are your soldiers here. This is the formation you set up all the way along here. That is the ridge that you are looking at.
Can we move just towards the infantry, just towards the ridge of the incline which we currently have, and can we have the cannons moving further forwards as well?
But these guys coming in
Yeah,
on
it
this
looks like
one
they're
here.
moving on one.
So we're going to move on this side. So
They're attacking
do we
one.
want to go back up the farm here?
Well, they're currently moving into where the first
Still
farm.
again, this is the other way up.
Yes. Do we want to take control of one of the farms or several of the farms if we can? Can we surround the middle farm which we have over there with the infantry, and can we have the cavalry behind, do defence and a cannon force behind that if that's possible?
What kind of infantry?
Light
or
Light.
Light infantry, no.
So we're moving one of these.
Well, these guys are moving in towards this.
I think it's this side.
This side. So we're moving onto here. Should we meet all of the force, or should we?
Do we only put one forwards? One infantry forwards?
I think we can
That's
meet
like
more one at a
protection.
time because else they're moving quite fast on this side.
Yeah, what's coming? Can we see what's moving towards us?
Can we see what the squares are?
Can we shoot
Okay,
that?
let's move
Or
to
you
the right.
No, I think we should go with the cavalry straight onto there.
Yeah, get the
Can
cavalry.
we get the cavalry going onto that, and then can we have a quick retreat after they've done it?
From the flank,
Can we have a cannon fire? There's a nearby cannon force.
That was actually a surprisingly excellent manoeuvre, I will give you that.
Thank you.
You successfully harried your
Move further back. Can we have the cavalry coming further back?
Oh, the French cavalry are now running away.
Oh well, we're clarifying them as well. It seems that, sorry, the infantry are closing in, grouping together.
We've got
Can we
two.
have a gunfire specifically focusing on them?
Which the troops in the centre?
Well, whatever guns we have nearest to them.
Have any of you guys actually taken control of the farm yet, or are they still vacant?
Well, can we have a view of the farm? Just to see what the situation is.
They were
We've got
key,
one farm taken.
excellent. They were key strategic positions in the actual Battle of Waterloo, and it may be worth following that particular strategy.
Should we?
Take the other farm, just to the side.
Well, the farm to the. Should we send out another cavalry force through there, or should we get the guns going over there?
We're on the wrong side of the farm, aren't we?
Yeah, let's move it.
We're currently got a line of infantrymen coming towards us.
We've got someone flanking the other side there as well.
Can we take the second farm
With what troops?
with the infantry troops,
Yeah,
but can we also have the backup of the cavalry, which can move in force afterwards?
Yeah, we've got something else coming up. We're
one?
coming in that way, so we need to move them
We've got
forward.
cavalry coming over here. Cavalry, we've taken over this one, and we've taken over here.
Okay, well,
Can we have the cavalry going once again over the top?
yeah,
Your
that's
chosen
this one
enemy
here.
is in
They're
square
coming in this way.
formation.
Okay,
Retreat! Get out!
You've just lost one of your cavalry.
Yes, can we have all the rest of the forces, including the first cavalry and the guns, moving slightly further forwards? Just further do the defence around the two
We should move
farms.
these guys to support the farm, so they're around the side.
Yes, can we have do we want infantry or do we want a cavalry force?
But with the other farms, we should move, because they're going around the side of the coast, we should move these units. These ones further forward, the ones from the hill, which are target those on the side.
Yes, so can we have
We're being flanked in,
Yeah, so we need to stop that.
Can we send anything in? Cavalry, infantry?
We've got cavalry there.
We've got no cavalry on there.
We could shoot.
Just
from the
fire,
hill, from the hill.
go square,
No, don't go score.
square and fire.
Can we support them? Can we get those troops on the hill?
The ones behind, yes, they are apparently.
Yeah, shoot them.
Yeah, all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we just
Can
bring
we have a
everything
third
in?
out view, thank you?
Get all three of those onto the farm. All three of those infantry, those groups in on the farm, and just get a line.
We need to watch out for the second farm which is being
Yeah,
currently
yeah.
closed into. Could you bring the cavalry further forwards towards there? And can you have a quick charge onto the opposing forces there which are taking on the other cavalry force? We also need
Moving
the
forward.
guns closer towards the farm if that's possible. Both farms.
or the middle?
Guns on the middle. We seem to have a charging force there, but
Yeah,
maybe
we
we're
take
Can we take them
Can we take them, well, can we remove them from the situation?
Which
Cavalry
right down the
We have a middle cavalry which seems to have got lost in the battlefield.
Can we send them
The ones who are now
Seems to
currently
be
getting
getting
switched.
switched. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
What are the white flashing squares?
It is over the way.
Okay,
I think they're routed.
That's correct.
Well, we currently have, they've retreated from the middle farm and it seems that we're taking over the priority of the infantry on the other farm. Can we have a quick view of the left farm?
Well, the troops coming in, can we send anything?
Those cavalry charging the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
Pretty much
square up?
formation,
Square
square.
up. Yeah. Whereabouts? Cavalry
Square
in the
formation in the
middle.
middle.
Cavalry is showing.
Yeah, those.
Is it there?
French cavalry is overrunning one of your lines.
Yeah.
How are you going to tackle
Can we
it?
have a quick square formation? Yeah. Can we have also the guns? Where are the guns at the moment on this force? Can we have the guns focusing specifically on this cavalry force here?
Yeah.
We're losing currently control of this one.
Battle is raging over that farmhouse, just sitting in the real battle of Waterloo.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we can send in there?
You have from the side as well.
One unit of
We need to bring in the troops to
light foot not currently engaged.
Can we send them in there?
Send them in
To the farm?
into the farm.
Can we send the cavalry in? There's an infantry coming in there. We've got.
We want to take over the farm. Can we have the guns to the right? That's on the screen.
If you can hold out for another minute, Prussian forces will arrive under the command of Blucher.
I think bring forward the infantry, so we've got that solid backup, it's a defensive line,
Yeah.
rather than...
Can we send in the cavalry against that infantry that's coming in on the left or right, whichever way it is?
By the contested farm.
Yes, thank you.
Probably. Wherever the infantry is coming in that's next to the cavalry.
It looks as if they're about to lose the farm. Are you going to send in any more troops to
Yeah,
target
the cavalry.
Cavalry's going the wrong way. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
but we
send it
don't
in. In?
Do a charge? You know,
We head on or from the flank.
from flank would be lovely.
Prussian forces under General Blucher is just about to arrive.
The team has done surprisingly well so far. They have already repulsed both cavalry and infantry attacks. This includes the famous armoured cavalry of Marshal Ney. Napoleon has committed his Imperial Guard to the battle. As in the real battle, the committal of this final reserve is a last-ditch attempt to take the victory. With this in mind, the Prussians have now arrived as reinforcements. As in the real battle again, this should serve as the final hammer blow to Napoleon and the French Empire.
Now that General Blucher and his Prussians have arrived, the French will be taking this battle to a whole new dimension. It will be even more brutal and even more bloody than before. But this time, you stand a chance of surviving. Let's see how it goes.
Right, so we've got them coming down from the right-hand side at the moment. We want them to immediately take this farm if possible.
Yeah, push forward.
Can we have the guns which also they own? Can we have those coming in as soon as possible in towards the farm on the right? We've got infantry coming in there which have been... Can we have a shot of that infantry at the moment?
The centre is collapsing.
The centre is collapsing. Oh gosh. Can we have the...
Can we view the
behind,
centre?
which
View the
goes
centre. Oh. Can we have these infantry there? Yeah, if they're moving forward, please.
Can we have them providing support for the retreating forces over here?
I don't call out retreating, I call out running away. You can't control them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we charge the remaining two units there into those two French units which are to the side?
We also have whatever is the star on the top force, if that's the generals, we have him coming forwards as well?
Are you willing to commit your general to this battle?
Yes. Not to the front lines, of course, but just...
Or Arthur?
Can we also have We seem to have missed the farm. We continue on. Do you turn around and attack the cavalry which is behind you?
Then
We target that last unit, please. The last remaining right unit apart from the artillery.
We take the farm as well while we're at
We
it.
should take the farm first.
We
Well
want.
done! Well done, our little team. Not only have you managed to win the Battle of Waterloo, but you've managed to inflict punishing losses on the French side. Napoleon Bonaparte will be running from this tail between his legs. Not only have you won the day, but you've saved Europe from having to speak French, which frankly is something all on its own. Your battle today has gone down in history. Crécy, Agincourt, Waterloo, Eustace Building, Route 2015. They will all go down in history as just one more time the British beat the French. So historians, how do you think our team of students did? Did they hold up well enough to the actual Duke of Wellington, or do you think it was a lucky escape?
Well, they did well considering the French army was already in a precarious position when the Prussians arrived.
Yeah, they managed to hold out on their ridge despite early late deployment, with the farmhouses both being under British control, which is actually better than the Duke himself did in the real battle. The French troops had to come in early, the entire cavalry force was ridden down by squares, and despite the fact that they had a few losses to their own cavalry forces from unfortunate timings of French squares, and their cannons being lost to riders, they managed to hold out pretty strong and commit all of the French forces by the time the Prussians had arrived.
I think we did really well. Besides a few tactical blunders, I think securing the farms was really critical, and I think that really helped us with our victory.
I think it showed how well that Wellington actually led his armies. Sylvia did a good job, but it was difficult to keep track of where the different regiments and so on were going, so I think it does show what a good commander that Wellington was.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, there's a lot out there, there's lots of fronts to cover at the same time. I think we did a good job, and the important thing is that we won at the end of the day.
The experience was really fun, and it was really great how we were able to take the farms and see how actually critical they were during the battle itself.
Thank you very much, Susanna, Derek, Phil and Sylvia. Tonight you have been our time commanders.